right, so let's go ahead and get started. As people come in, I go pretty slow, I say, or I repeat myself. I let practice and make sure that you're able to do what I'm showing you. So welcome to Google Classroom. Hopefully, by the end of this training, you will know everything you need to know about Google Classroom. And if you don't, I have some literature that I'll send to you. I'll have the recording to Google Classroom on our instructional technology page of our website. And you can get to that by going to departments and then instructional technology and then Google Classroom. Or videos. I think it's listed under videos if you want to watch the entire video. All right, so let's get started. What is Google Classroom? Well, Google Classroom is available to our district and schools within Google Apps for Education. Classroom is a way to get all of your students in one place and allows you to easily assign work to your students for them to turn in. So Classroom is based in your Google Drive. So when you create a classroom, what happens is that classroom folder for that class is housed in your Google Drive. You don't have to create it. It creates it for you. So that's the beauty of it. It holds everything and organizes everything for you. So you really don't have to do the work because Google Classroom is doing it for you. And when I say work, I mean the organization of that drive or that work. Google Classroom helps teachers create and collect assignments paperlessly. So what I like to say or think about is, if you would, please mute your microphone. Everyone coming in, please, if you don't mind, mute yourself so that we don't have any feedback. Thank you. So like what I like to equate it to is the teacher in the classroom passing out pieces of paper or an assignment. So you pass out one to each student. You have the ability to do that right within Google Classroom. All right. So this saves a lot of time for teachers. Again, like I said, it automatically creates drive folders for each classroom, each assignment, each student, all those things. And students can keep track of what's due on the assignments page and begin working with just a click. So that's what makes it so wonderful. They can keep up with all of their work. My son has Google Classroom. He's a student in Google Classroom. And as a parent, I'm overjoyed when I am able to see what's going on and what he has to do for the day so I can keep up with that. Teachers can also quickly see who has or hasn't completed the work and provide direct real-time feedback and marks right from within the classroom. So there's no need to email students or try to figure out what their email address is or anything like that. Right from within the classroom, you can do all of that. So if you're a first timer to Google Classroom, this is what your screen will look like whenever you log into your Google account. So there's a couple of ways that you can get to Google Classroom. One of the ways is that, and I'm going to open up another tab, so just bear with me. You're going to see a whole different little look right here. So as you can see on my screen, I have a little waffle menu that's right next to my picture. So if I click on the waffle menu, I can see that Classroom is one of the apps that is available to me. So I can get to my Classroom right there by simply just clicking on the waffle menu and then clicking on Classroom. Now, keep in mind, you have to be signed into your school Google account, all right? So if you're in your personal account and you're trying to set up a classroom, that's not going to work for your students. So that's one of the things you want to keep in mind. So again, waffle menu, Classroom, and there you have it. It's opening my classroom. You can see all the classes that I have going. And again, if you're a first-time user, yours is not going to look like what mine looks like. It would look like this, all right? And then you would simply click on Go to Classroom, all right? So the other way to join access Google Classroom is you can simply log into your Google account, and in the search bar, you could type classroom.google.com, and that'll get you there too. So whichever works best for you is fine. Either one will get you there. So again, if you're a first timer, you're going to see this, and you're going to see a plus sign at the top right of your screen. You're going to click on that plus sign. So let me show you how that's going to look in real time. So here's the plus sign. Okay, yes, I don't have the startup screen that you would have if you're a first timer, but all the while, the plus sign is still there, whether you have one classroom set up, no classroom set up, or 15 classrooms set up. So you would click on the plus sign, and then you would click create a class. So you're the teacher. You do not want to click join the class. That's what your students will do. You want to click on create class. So I'm going to do that just to show you what it looks like. Once you click on create class, you're going to want to put in the class name. I'm going to say Google Classroom, or type a little, one too many O's, April 23. All right, so that's the class name for today's sample class. I could put a section in here. So what great thing to do is if you have, if you're teaching ELA and you have 4 sections of ELA, you're going to want to put section 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on what section it is. You definitely want to do that if you're teaching more than one section, because I know that in your mind, you would probably think, hey, let me just add all my kids to this one classroom, and then I can manage it easier that way. Well, that is not the case. So you definitely want to have those classrooms created by sections, because if you put all kids into one classroom, suppose your students, you may have a group, one section that, hey, half a day was missed and you didn't get to cover this, and the other class you got to cover it with. So then you're having to give both classes the same material. One hasn't had it yet, the other one has. It could just become a huge debacle. All right. So it's so easy to assign things to 2 classes and 3 classes and 15 classes at one time that you really would want to section these classes off if you do have them. Right here, you would put the subject, ELA, or I'm going to just put science. But as you can tell, there's a drop down here that makes it really easy for you. You could select from one of those. If you choose to put a room number, you can put that here. And then you click on create. And as you can see, Google Classroom is doing the work for you. It says creating. Once my class is created, you will see a pop-up menu telling me that my class is there, and I'll be popped right into my classroom. So here we go. Google Classroom, April 23rd. That's the title I gave it. Section 2. We'll talk a little bit about this, but I just want to talk about the interface for a minute. So when you get to your first class that you create, or your second or your third or whatnot, this is the screen that you're going to come to. All right. So I'm going to call this the interface. This is what Google Classroom looks like. You're going to notice that on the left, you have a hamburger menu that lists all your classes if you have several of them. You just click on that hamburger menu, and that'll give you access to all of those. You'll notice that you can also go to your calendar right from the Google Classroom. You can select one of the classrooms that you've just created. All right, so you have the option to do that. You also, let's see, what did I call this? Let's say Google Classroom, April 23rd. All right, so as you can see, I have section 2 here. I want to point your attention to the constant that you will always see, whether you're in Stream, Classwork, People, or Grades, and we'll talk about those. But these tabs, these 4 tabs will always be there for you. There'll be a constant. You can always click between these tabs. And I'm going to explain further about what you do in each of those tabs, all right? But the first tab we're in is the Stream, so that's a good place to start. All right, so within the Stream, you have your classroom banner, all right? Again, I talked about that. Google Classroom is your title or your class. Section 2, we have a class code here, which I'll talk more about, but I definitely want to talk about this theme here. Right now, as you can see, I have like a little backpack going on. Let's say I want to change that theme. I said that this was a science class maybe, so I'm going to want a science theme. So I just simply click on change theme. As you can see along the top, it has English and history, math and science, arts, sports, and other. I'm going to click on math and science. I'm just going to click here just for the sake of doing that. And for the sake of time, so I have a little, I've changed my theme, as you can see. You can also upload a photo if you want to have something original there. You can definitely upload a photo, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm going to now pop right back over to my Google presentation so we can talk more about this stream, okay? So again, I've discussed how to create your own class by clicking on the plus sign, clicking on create a class and filling out the information. Now we're going to talk about 2 ways to have the students join. So now you have a class, your class is all created. We know what the interface looks like. We know how to change the theme, but we need to know how to get our students to join. So there's 2 ways to do that. One is you can invite students via email to join your class, or some of you use Class Dojo or Remind 101 or JCall or whatever you use, all right? You can definitely get that class code that we're talking about and send that to your kids, or right from within Google, you can invite kids to your class by email. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to switch back over to my live class. So we talked about that code, right? Class code. If I click here, display, I can get that class code right here. Just simply copy it and paste that right into a Class Dojo, Remind 101, or even to an email to your students, okay? I say you would probably want to do this with the younger kids, right? Just simply send that to the parents and have them join a class. You may want to send them literature on how to join your class, okay? I'm going to pull up a document after this class and share that document with you, and that's just a document that tells parents how to join from their end. So I'll get that document to you after the class today. So anyway, if I don't, then send me an email reminder, because I kind of have a few things going on and I'm kind of forgetful too. So let me go ahead and X out of that. So that's one way to have students join your class. The other way is to click, remember I talked about this constant right here, click on over to the People tab. Once you're in the People tab, you see that I am the teacher, and here's how you invite students. So let's say I want to invite a student to my class. The great thing about Classroom is that it is fully integrated with our student and staff directory. So our email directory is integrated right within Google Classroom. So if I start typing a student's name, then let's say I wanted to type in Josie Bush, for example. I can just simply start typing her name, click on the student, and then click invite. The student would get an invite, and then they would accept the invite, and that would be it. They're done in your class. Okay, so let me invite somebody that I know is in this class right now. Amy, I'm going to invite you. Kelsey, hopefully you're still in. I'm going to invite you. I don't know, I think it's EY. There we go. All right, so I'm going to invite you to, and if you would, please check your email and go ahead and accept that invite. And the reason I'm doing that is just to show everyone in the class that these people are invited, and once they accept that invitation, their name will no longer be grayed out. As you can see, Amy Grossi right here just accepted the invitation. You can also invite guardians too. So you can invite the parents to be part of that classroom as well, if you choose to do so. Now, let me just tell you that there's some things that you can do. If ever someone is in your class and they have dropped from your classroom, you can simply click on them, click on actions, and you can remove them from the class. All right. So there's always a way to remove people who don't need to be in your classroom any longer. So that's the way to invite students. The second way, remember I talked about that class code, so you can do that as well. Either one, whichever works better for you and your parents. All right, now let's suppose that I'm team teaching with someone and I want them to be a part of my class. So I can invite teachers. All right, so if I decided to invite Pretsy to my class, then I would just click, I would invite, and when she'd accept that invitation, she's now a co-teacher in my class. All right. So the difference between you and the students, remember I talked about this constant stream classwork people grades. All right, well, they don't have this grades tab. All right, so they're not going to be able to, this is specifically for you guys. All right, so they'll see stream, they'll see classwork, they'll see people, but they won't see grades. Anybody have any questions so far? I know I said to put those in the chat, and I do have questions in the chat, so I'm gonna, oops, all right. Hopefully everybody can still see my screen. Let me know if you cannot. Google is telling me that you were seeing my screen, so I'm going to go with that. All right, so moving right along. We talked about how students will join. Basically, the student would go and log into their Google account. They would go to Google Classroom, click on the plus sign in the right-hand corner, and instead of create a class, they would click join class and then type in the classroom code if that is the way that you chose to have them join the class. All right, remember, again, two ways. If you want them to join your class with a classroom code, they have to go in and click join class. If you want to send them an invite through email, you can send it through email, but they have to check their email to be able to gain access. So again, we talked about changing the theme. I think that's pretty easy for you guys to do. I talked a little bit about the stream, but I'm going to come back to it because this stream is very important. And this is why. This is where you're going to post your announcements to your students. And I say assignments, you can post some assignments there, but I like to use the classroom tab more so to post assignments to students. So when you're assigning to students, you would definitely want to use the assignments tab. When you create a new assignment, a new announcement, you can do several things. You can save that as a draft so you don't have to post it right away. Or you can schedule it to be posted at a later date. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. I first want to just kind of go through and explain to you what the stream has to offer. All right, so within the stream, Google Classroom gives you, like I said, a place to post your announcements. And unlike a website with one-way communication, students can comment back to you on announcements, okay? And you can even attach things to an announcement. So let's say you wanted to give them access to a document or a video or something like that. You had a question that you wanted a discussion board kind of thing going on, then you can definitely do that all in the stream. So these are some ways to use the stream. Using the stream, most of the times you'll do that to put out an announcement to your students. So in most cases, you'll use the stream to announce things, but you can also use it as a place for students to make announcements to each other, like questions, kudos, concerns, updates, all those things. You can use it as a ticket out the door or a warm up, a virtual classroom discussion, like I just mentioned, a quick writing prompt, or you can share links with your students. Hey, you can say, students, you know, I came across this really cool web resource and here's a link to it. Go check it out. This is something that would give you extra practice on fractions or on magnets or whatever you could be working on at the time. How to make an announcement in Stream. This is how you do it. Simply click on the Stream tab if you're not already there. Remember, the default for Google Classroom, once you create a class, is going to be that Stream tab. That's the default. That's where it's going to take you first. So when you create a class, or you even go to a class that you have created, when you open that classroom up, you're going to be in the Stream tab, all right? All you have to do is type in your announcement into the top box. And like I said before, add attachments, files from the drive, YouTube links, or links to other sites. And then click on the class that you want to post the announcement to. Remember I said, if you have many sections, put those sections, you know, separate those sections out. Don't put all the kids into one section, because it's very easy to make the announcement that you want to make to multiple classes at one time. And then you simply click post, schedule for later, or draft. All right, so before I move on to classwork, let's get busy in Stream. All right, so remember, I was talking about Stream. Perfect. I have 2 people that have commented on my Google Classroom Stream. Amy, thanks. Kelsey, thanks. All right, so they just posted a little comment, right? So they're telling me hi. They could be students that are saying hello to each other, you know, getting caught up on what's been going on since we left. All right, so as a teacher, these are the things that you could do in Stream. So remember I said that you can post an announcement. I'm going to post an announcement letting my students know that I want them to watch a video, okay? Hello, everyone. Please watch this video on animal types. If you have already been to one of my Google Classrooms, I always use this subject. Eventually I'm going to get tired of using it, but for now, that's what it is. Animal types. Okay, so what's great about this? Many things. Let me show you. How fun. First off, you have all these classrooms. Let's say I want this class to watch that video and get this announcement. This class, this class, this class. I can ding off any and all of the classes. I can choose who I want to see this, all right? But for now, I'm just going to say you guys, all right? So the classroom that I'm in. You can do the same with the students. All of the students in that class or just some. Let's say that you have students that need special modifications or accommodations. And so you want to give them a video that's tailored to their grade, grade level, or let's say their functionality. Okay, so then you could maybe send them a link to another video that would better suit their needs. All right, so this is wonderful because you can definitely use this to provide those accommodations and modifications, and it makes it really, really easy to do so. So again, I talked about a video. This is where you do that. All right, so when you click the add button, there's several options that you can choose from. You can add things that are already created in your Google Drive. Let's say that you have a document that's in your Google Drive that you want them to have access to. Well, then you can click on Google Drive. Basically, if you've just worked in that document, you're going to want to say recent. You're going to want to click on recent. I say. That's just my go-to thing. You're going to want to click on recent, and then you're going to grab that document that you want to give them access to. So if I wanted to give them access to any of the documents that I have, okay, let's say that I wanted to give them access to these Zoom cards, okay, I'd say, yeah, okay, now you got access. Google Slides. All right, so that's directly from my drive. Let's say that I wanted to provide them with a link to a website. All right, so I would click on link. I would go out and find the link that I want. Maybe I'd already copied it, and right click, you paste that link right in. Let's say I want to send them to the school board website, www.slpsb.org. All right, and add the link. Now they have a link to our website, okay? And it might be just to, I may have provided them a link just to a certain page like, you know, Nearpod or Noggin Kid, whatever, okay? But also, if you have a file on your computer that you want them to have access to, you haven't had a chance to put that in the drive, but it's sitting on your computer and you want them to have access to that drive. So you would simply click on File, all right? It says drag files here. You can go find that document, click on that document. It's coming in, and click on upload. There you go, popping right in. How easy is that? Okay, there you have your document. The last thing that I want to show you is that you can add a YouTube video. And this is really what we were talking about, but I felt like it was necessary to show you all the other cool things that you could do with this. Remember, we're on animal types, right? So all that other stuff really doesn't mean a whole lot to these students, and I'm going to delete it before I post. But let's say I wanted them to watch a video on types of animals or animal classification. So I would just simply click on that YouTube, add YouTube and animal classification, and hit enter, and boom, there you have it. So remember, if you're teaching 5th grade and you have those students that are included in your classroom, but maybe aren't ready for a video that's really, really, you know, has a lot of terminology that they wouldn't understand, then this is where you can modify that for those students. All right. So you can assign different kids, different videos, and they're only going to see the video if you have assigned it to them. So, so-and-so in this class, Johnny won't know that Susie was given a different video to watch. They won't know that. They won't see that, because when they go to their stream, they're only seeing the things that are assigned to them. They don't know. All right, so I'm going to click on this video, and it's going to pop right in, and you can see it says it's a YouTube video. It's 6 minutes long. I want these kids to watch that video. By the way, I'm just going to delete all of these things that I had put in. That was just for the purposes of showing you all what can be done there. So hello, everyone. Please watch the video on animal types. Let me know what you think. You will have an assignment. To complete on this topic. All right, so I'm telling the kids that, you know, watch the video. You're going to have an assignment about this. Right here, I discussed this a little bit, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I could hit post. I could definitely hit post, and those kids would get that right then and there. But I also can do this. I can go down and hit schedule, where I could schedule it for a later date. Or let's say that it's like, you know, Friday, and I'm creating assignments, but I don't want the kids to have access until Monday. So that's where you would definitely utilize schedule. Or I can save it as a draft. Okay, so let's say that, you know, I'm not quite finished with this. I have things that I want to add to it. And so at that point, I would just save it as a draft and come back to it when I have all my documents ready that I want to add. All right, but for all practical purposes here, I'm just going to hit post. And you see that Google is posting that announcement there. So anybody have any questions about that? All right. If you have questions, again, just chat them in, and I'll answer those questions after the training. Or, you know, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, if it's a question that, you know, you just have a burning desire that that question needs to be asked right now. Hey, I'm good for that. That's good. I'm all good. Whatever goes, whatever's easier for you. All right. So let's talk more about Google Classroom, specifically the second tab, which is the Classwork tab. Remember, I talked about the constant, right? Stream, classwork, people, grades. All right, so this is where you do most, if not all, of your assigning. All right, and that's the Classwork tab. So let's talk a little bit about that. There's several things that you can create as classwork. All right, you can create an assignment, you can create a quiz assignment, you can create a question, you can just simply push out material. All right, so then you're not really assigning, I mean, you may be assigning them to read the material, but it's, if you're passing out material, it's not for a grade. You're just giving them access to that material, right? Look at this little icon here, reuse posts. Gotta love it. If you choose to, you can reuse a post that you've already used at any time. So you definitely can utilize that if you have had a post before with material and you want to reuse that post, that's where you do it. Also, if you will look right down at the bottom, it says topic. This is where you can get, your stuff all organized. Like, let's say that you have units and you work within those units, then you can definitely put all of your units as topics. And when you create an assignment, you put them under a certain topic. So topics may be units, they may be chapters, they may just be specific things like types of animals. So any of those things, you create the topics, but just keep in mind that's going to be your organization. You want to organize things within topics. You don't want things just floating around everywhere. So that gives you some sense of organization within your classroom and classwork tab. All right. Now, what is an assignment? And again, we went over classwork tab. I talked a little bit about what you could do in the classwork tab. I'm going to talk about an assignment, but then I'm going to go over and actually show you how it's done. All right, so just keep that in mind. I'm going over, but then I'll show. All right, so what's an assignment? Using Google Docs, you no longer need to collect and pass out paper. Remember, I told you about that paper thing. You can simply share documents by placing the document in the Google Drive by just hitting create a copy. So in other words, when you're in Google Drive and you want to assign things to students, you simply need to create a copy for each student. And that's just like passing out a paper to each one of those students. The students just press turn in after they're done with the assignment, and it turns that assignment right into you, and it organizes it right in the Google Drive. All right. So again, we talked about options for assignments, or maybe we didn't talk about that, but these are the options. They're the same. Just to let you know, they're the same as if you post to an announcement. Like if you're posting an announcement, you know how I told you, you can add Google Drive, add something from Google Drive, add a link, add a file, add a YouTube video. You have the same options right in assignments. All right, so you can do that. And you can create a document or an assignment right in Classwork. All right, so these are ideas for using assignments. You can use assignments for collaborative group work, individual writing assignments, note-taking templates, tests and quizzes, test preparation, and project-based learning. So those are some of the things that you would use assignments for. All right, so I'm going to hop on over to my classroom that I created, just so that you can see the Classwork tab and how it works. So again, we're done with Stream. You see right here, upcoming. I do want to call your attention to that before we move on. You see upcoming right here, no work due soon. What I want to tell you about that is when you do assign work to the students, it's going to show up in their Stream tab right here under upcoming. And so that's great as well. So as you can see, I'm in the Classwork tab, haven't added any work there. I'm going to simply click on create. Okay, so I want to create assignment. All right, and I'm going to create, let's say, you all watched a video earlier about animal classification. Please complete the attached document and let me know if you have questions. All right. Okay. So you're telling them that they're going to create a document, right? Or complete a document. So again, oops. Let me copy that and put that in the instructions. First is the title. Let me back up. Animal classification. All right, definitely going a little bit ahead of myself. So animal classification is the title. Instructions, I'm giving the instructions here right now. I'm going to add, I could add that YouTube video again if I wanted to, but I already have them watching it, so I'm not going to do that. But I did create a document that I want them to complete, all right? So here is the document right in my Google Drive. I'm gonna say types, I think it was types of animals, so of animals, yeah, types of animals. Here we go. So the let me show you what that document looks like, just so you can see. Let me go to my drive and types of animals. All right, here we go. All right, so I got this document right here that I created. As you can see, it is not, I didn't put a whole lot of effort in this, but hey, I didn't really need to, because all I need to do is watch the video and list the animals you saw in each of the columns provided. So I put a few columns here: mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and I want the students to just watch that video and list those animals into the sections that they see here. All right, so they just could type that in. Very, very, very user-friendly. So I created the document again, and I just added that document right here. All right, now a few things. The first thing I want to show you is they have a little menu to the right that says for. For whom? Okay, remember I told you that if you have multiple sections, you can assign it to one section, two sections, 3 or 15, whatever you want. And you just do that by clicking the box next to that particular class, all right? And then 2, again, you can go a little further and assign it to certain students. Right here, you have the ability to assign a point value. Right now, we know that all of this is optional, so you may want to select ungraded. But if you don't, again, right now you would want to select ungraded. But in the event you are able to grade these assignments, you would assign a point value. Let's say I wanted this to be worth 50 points. So when the student turned the assignment in, it would come into me, and I could just say, okay, I look at it, okay, no, he doesn't have this right. But he got all the most of it right, and I'm going to assign him, I'm going to give him 45 points. So you have the ability to assign a point value there. You also have the ability to assign a due date. So I want this to be done by April 30th, so I'm going to assign a due date. And when you click here, the default is 11:59 p.m., but you can definitely change that as well. Remember, I talked about topics. All right, so this is very important. I don't have a topic created, right? Remember, I told you about it, but I didn't create it. So it gives you the ability right here to create a topic so that you don't have to back out of all this and go and create a topic and then come back. It's right there. So I'm going to say Chapter 8, Types of Animals. All right. Do I need to put types of animals? If chapter 8 is all about types of animals, yeah, I want them to know that. Yeah, so I want that to show up. But you know, if it's just types of animals and you have a whole unit on that, it just really is whatever you need it to be, that topic. But when you hit assign, the important thing to note is this topic will now be created for you. You can also assign a rubric, and you can, if it's a writing assignment, click this for originality reports. All right, so that's important. This is a good little feature there if you're an English teacher. And then one other thing that I want to call your attention to is, well, not one other thing, but one other thing before you assign is you have the ability to assign right then, to schedule, or to save as a draft, or to discard the draft if you decide not to use it. Now, so it's just those same options as if you were creating an announcement. Only, like I said, this is an assignment, not an announcement. This is something that I'm tasking the students with doing. And that's, you know, either going to be graded or ungraded, whatever you choose. But they're going to have the ability to turn this in. And an announcement, they're not going to be turning anything in. They'll type in and hit send and be able to communicate like a discussion board. But this, they'll actually get the document and then they'll turn the document into you. And you'll then get the document. So the important thing to note here, I want to call your attention to, is that once you add your items, your documents, or whatever you want them to have access to in that assignment, you have a few options here. And this is going to be extremely important on what your students see or what they can do. All right, so if you simply choose to leave this as students can view file, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to hit assign, and that student will be able to view that file, but they will not be able to type in it. So you don't want that to happen. You want them to, you told them you wanted them to do something. So definitely this would not apply here. All right, so I'm going to arrow down and see what else I can do. Students can edit a file. If you want them to work collaboratively on an assignment, then you would select this option. Students can edit the file. All right, so you're essentially giving them the option to all type on the same file. All right, the same document or the same slide if it's slides that you're using. So again, if it was a group collaborative project, then definitely that's the choice you would make. All right. But remember, I talked about giving an assignment, passing out a piece of paper to each of your students. If you wanted each of your students to do this independently, then this is the selection you would make. Make a copy for each student. So I'm going to click on that, make a copy for each student. All right. Let's say that there's some other things that you wanted to add. Again, I'm just going to show you if you wanted to add something from your Google Drive. These are the options you have. You can add a recent document. You can upload a document from your computer. You can upload a document from your Google Drive. That's not recent documents. That's just everything. Like, you just have to look through. If there's a document on a shared drive that you need to access, you can click on shared drives. Another thing you can do, which that's basically for another, definitely another training, but if you store items within your Google Drive, then those items would be right here for you to easily fetch them and add them to your Google Classroom or assign them to students. So anything you store will be in this stored column, all right? So again, I'm gonna cancel this out because basically all I want them to do is answer this question. Work on this worksheet right now. But I do want to tell you that if you choose, and I guess I'm getting ahead of myself right here. So I'm going to just go ahead and assign, just so you can see. It's assigning that particular document to those students. So the students that get that document will now be able to work on that document and turn it in. So now you can see in my classwork tab, and it's no longer empty. It talks about topics here, all topics. As you can see, the topic that I added, chapter 8, types of animals, is right here. This is the topic as well. And this is the assignment that I created. It tells me when that assignment is due. You can edit the assignment at any time, delete the assignment, copy the link, whatever you want to do with that, whatever applies to you at the time. Now, I want to show you one other thing within this classwork tab before we move on. So remember, you can create things, right? You can create assignments, quiz assignments, questions, materials, a topic. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a quiz assignment, okay? Because I want to give my students a quiz. I want them to take a quiz, right? So if I did that, as you can see, a Google form would pop right into that assignment tab. So what this is doing is basically, if you're familiar with forms, you can definitely create quizzes from Google Forms, and it even grades it for you if you choose to have that done. All right, like you can see here, grade importing. That just means that when you create that quiz within Google Forms, it's going to import the grades from that quiz for you. So I'm going to say, or type, types of animals, just because. And I can put some instructions here, but for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is I will decide who do I want to give this quiz to. Again, you select your classes, select your students, or you don't have to select your students, but if you're only assigning it to one student, that's where you would want to ding off the ones that you want to assign it to. All right, so again, point value, you can assign a point value. Like, let's say that I want this to be worth 20 points, all right? So I'm just going to say I want this to be worth 20 points. I'm going to have a due date of, let's see, the 27th of April. And 11:59 works for me. My topic, I've already created types of animals, so I don't need to create another topic, right? I just select the topic that's already there. I already created that. If you have a rubric that you want to attach, again, you can attach a rubric there. So if it's a project-based learning activity, then definitely you would want to attach some kind of rubric. Now I'm going to go into forms, and this is just kind of like a little added bonus feature that I'm going to show you, because this is really not about Google Forms, but I'll show you how to do that. So just to show you how to create a form that would then become a quiz. All right, so I'm going to do types of animals, or animal classification. Oh, Lord. Excuse me, y'all. All right, so that's my title. I'm not going to put a description in here just because, for time's sake, I don't want to have you in here for 3 hours. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is maybe I want to add a video. So, okay, I can add a video. Remember, types, well, animal classification. Let's say that I already have one video that I had them watch, but I want them to answer the questions based on a video that you're giving them access to. So I could just simply say, watch the video above. Oops. To answer this question. Okay, so then you can see that it's saying multiple choice, all right? It's giving me an option to add a picture in here, so I'm going to add a picture. I don't want to upload a picture. That takes too much time. I don't want to use my camera, although you can. I'm not going to search it by URL. I'm not going to go into my photos, not my Google Drive either. I find this is the easiest way to pop a picture in there. So I'm going to hit Google image search and I'm going to type in whale. All right. I want a picture of a whale. There we go. Boom, whale. All right. So I'm going to select this image and hit insert. And now you have a picture right in your quiz, right? Okay, watch the video to answer this question. And then I will expound on this. What type of animal is this? All right, and I'm going to put my options here. Fish, my next option, mammal. My next option, amphibian. All right, and you can go on and put as many options as you'd like. All right, so everybody see where it says answer key? All right, so first off, let me go over to the right and tell you that you must ding required, because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is that's going to allow the students to skip that question. You don't want that to happen. So just select required and it'll make your life a lot easier. And there's two. Then go to answer key and you want to ding off the correct answer. Then I want to call your attention to the points at the top. So you want to make this, what I said that it was 20 points. I'm going to make this one 10. We're going to have two questions right here. Each will be worth 10. I don't want to add answer feedback. Okay, so you can add answer feedback if you want. I don't want to do that, but they have the option to do so. You also, right up here, have some other options. So right here within settings and quizzes, you can, again, this is made a quiz because Classroom did that for you. They made it a quiz. You told them you wanted a quiz, right? You can choose to release the grade immediately after each submission. I don't like to do that. I say later after manual review. Somebody can turn off their mic, mute themselves, please, so that we don't have background information. That would be helpful. Thank you. Okay, so respondents can see. I don't want them to see what questions they missed. Remember, you may have to, you know, if it's somebody that gets modifications, you may want to return the quiz to them. They're having problems. You want to, you know, instruct them and give it again. I don't know. But I never let them see what questions they missed if it's a quiz. Not at that time. Correct answers, I don't let them see that either. Point values, you could choose to or not to. Do not turn this feature on, turn on lock mode, because what I'm finding out is if they are not in a Chromebook, it's not going to let them take the quiz. So if they're not on a Chromebook, it will not allow them, a managed Chromebook that is, it will not allow them to take the quiz. So don't ding this selection right here and hit save. All right, so remember I told you I had one other question that I was going to ask to the kiddos. So I'm going to click here, add a question. All right. And I don't want it to be a multiple choice. I want to be a checkbox, right? So I'm going to say select all the mammals, right? And I'm going to then, you see right here where I hover over it, I can select a picture right here, go to my Google search. I'm going to type in fish, and I'll put a picture of a fish, type in the word fish, okay? I'm going to add a lizard maybe, go right here, type in lizard. All right, pop in a lizard. Picture of a lizard. I can type in the word lizard. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. Let's go to image, type in dolphin. All right, there you go. Got us a little dolphin right here. All right, so you get the idea, right? Go to that answer key, select all that are correct. I said we'd have multiple correct, so let me say done, and then I'm going to go back and add one more just to show you. Let's see, option. I selected other. I didn't want to do that. Option. Okay, so let's say horse, and select a picture of a horse. All right, here we go. Got me a little horse right here. Let's hope it's not a guy horse. And moving right along. All right, so I'm going to go back to answer key, and I'm going to ding this right here. All right. All right, so then we're done. Remember to select required. Remember to go and assign in the answer key. Oops, sorry guys. Assign a point value, right? So I'm going to give 10 points here. And when I finish with this quiz, all I have to do is back out of the quiz and go right back. Okay, I'm going to rename this though, animal classification. So I'm just naming it right here. It's worth a total of 20 points. And I don't need to send it because it's already there. Even though it says blank quiz, trust me, the quiz is there. You don't have to be concerned about that. Again, I didn't add instructions, and I'm going to hit assign. Now, I do have 2 people in this class. So those 2 people will be able to take this quiz because it's now assigned right here where it says animal classification. So hopefully you have a good idea of what the classwork tab mainly does, or what's the function of the classwork tab and what you can do under that classwork tab. So again, that's basically where you go to assign work to your students. Again, I'm not going to really go through it completely, but you can ask a question through that tab and they would answer the question and then turn it in. How is that different from an announcement? Well, not everybody is going to see the answer to their question if you do it this way. If you do it in the classwork tab, then you're asking a question, they have to answer the question and turn it into you. So then you'll have the answer to their question. Again, you can assign material just the same way. It's going to give you the same options through a file, through your Google Drive. So that's just, you know, pretty much the same, or is the same across Google Classroom. Anybody have any questions? All right. So again, we talked about attaching things directly from Drive. An easy way to do that is just click on the Drive icon, search your document in the window that pops up, and click Add. So again, remember I talked to you about if you're looking through the Google Drive, you're going to see recent, you're going to have an option to upload, you're going to have an option to go to your Drive, which is everything in your Drive. Recent is just the things that you recently opened. Just a little hint of something that would make your life easy is that if you want to assign something to a student, go open it in Drive first. Go open that document in Drive or work on that document in Drive. Then when you click on recent, it's going to be right there. It's going to pop right up. So you don't have to go searching for it while you're creating the assignment. Also, shared drives, you know, definitely if you have something that's in a shared drive, you could pull it from there or from stored. If there's something that you're working on, you can store it and you know, go to the stored tab, it'll be there as well. All right, so the next tab is the people tab, all right? And that tab is where, again, I went over that. That's where you add teachers, that's where you add students. So this page is just simply a list of all the teachers and students in that particular classroom. You can email students in your classroom. If a student is grayed out, that means that the student is not in the classroom yet. They didn't yet accept the invite. once that student becomes active, you're going to see the color change. So there's really nothing, you know, nothing more to say about the People tab. I think I talked about this. Yes, I did. So now I'm going to move back over to my live class, and I'm going to go to the grades tab. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the grades tab. In the grades tab, you're going to have all your students listed here. All right, as you can see, once my two students accepted my invite, their names populated into what looks like a grade book. All right, so it's going to have their names right here. Once they start completing those assignments and such, it would have their class average right here, a running class average. If you were to manually grade something, then you would just simply click on the square next to that student's name and type in. So if I looked at her document, so if Amy turned in the document, I looked at her document, she had everything correct. Everything was in the right category. You know, basically, and I didn't state this in the instructions, but you know, you may not want, when you're assigning something like that, watch a video and put all of the animals. You might want to just say list 3 in each category. All right. So anyway, she got everything correct. So I'm going to give her a grade of 50. And you're going to see that she got 50 out of 50 points right there. Now, if I arrow down here and hit return, then I'm returning that grade to her. So she will know that I've graded that, right? And you also have the ability to view the submission right there in that particular square for that particular assignment. If at any time you want to edit an assignment right here, you can do so, like meaning point value and stuff, or a delete, or if you just simply want to return to all, you can return it to all the students. So that is just something you can do right there. All right. My voice is tired, but it looks like I pretty much covered everything. There's only one other thing that I do want to talk to you about. When you first get to Google Classroom, you'll probably have something here that says you can now create a Google Hangout Meet right within Google Classroom. So if you don't have that option, let me go back out of here and show you how to activate that. So many of our teachers are meeting with our students through Google Meet Hangouts. When I say Google Meet, it's Google Meet Hangouts. So that's video conferencing. So the way to meet right within Google Classroom is if you just click on the little wheel here, this little wheel. Google Classroom just allowed for that feature to be integrated within Google Classroom. So I think I got that email probably like, I don't know, a week ago or something. So you would want to click on this little icon right here, this little settings icon. You can see the class details. You maybe want to arrow down. You can see the class codes. This is also some general settings where you can allow students to post and comment, or put students can only comment, or only teachers can post or comment. So, you know, some people, especially high school teachers, you might say, you know what, in the announcements, I just want to be able to announce. I don't want them to be able to post or comment, because they're going to be commenting all kind of crazy things that the rest of the class doesn't need to see, and I don't want to happen. So that's where you control that here. Students can post and comment. Students can only comment. Only teachers can post and comment. So you can change these options right here. All right. Classwork on the stream. You can show condensed notifications. You can show all attachments and details, or you can hide notifications. So those are a few little features that you can play around with and see what works for you. right here, you can choose to show deleted items. All right. You have some Guardian summaries. You can play around with that too. This is just a basic Google Classroom, so I don't want to muddy the waters too much. So I'm not going to go into that right now. But here is where I talked about that Google Meet. All right. And so Classroom now supports Google Meet. If you want to learn more about that, you simply click here. But I'm going to say, let's do that. Let's have a Google Meet integrated with our Classroom. So what I would do is click on this generating Google Meet link, and you have to, you're going to see that it's now going to be visible to students that it's going to have your Meet web address, okay? And you're going to click save, right? Because you want that to become active. So once you do that, you're going to see that your Meet link is right here. So students aren't having all kind of trouble. You're not having to email them when you have a Google Meet or whatnot. You can assign a Meet and then just say, hey, click on the title banner of our Classroom, and you'll be in the Google Meet. All right, so let's go back into the settings just so I can show you what else is available in the grading option. So grade calculation, overall grade calculation, it says choose a grading system. So you can actually give points, total points, or weighted by category. So those are some of the things that you could do. You could add grade categories. So just like you can do with your grade book, you can add categories right within Google Classroom that would give you categories for those grades. Anybody have any questions? I think this just about covers everything in Google Classroom. All right, so I think I am done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording so that I can answer any of your questions. Not that I don't think those are important, but enough to be recorded, but just for time's sake on the recording. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then I'll open it up for questions.